Okay, I know what you're thinking. How can I afford to pay $500 for a theme for my revenue generating website while I'm trying to extend my cash runway as I'm trying to recover my website from a Google update hit? I should be very frugal and only spend on necessities until my website becomes more profitable again. Spending a third of what my website is making per month on the looks of the website doesn't sound like a good investment. A theme, after all, isn't the reason for my website underperforming. And it's not even a theme for WordPress. It's for Ghost. Totally niche, right? Fair enough. What if I told you that the theme is faster than the free one I had installed? A fast website is likely to rank higher in search engine results. So, as the new theme cut off a second from the website's loading time, that must be worth something, huh? Well, what if I told you that it's not a theme, but a bunch of themes, and with lifetime upgrades and support, so that I know I won't need to spend more cash to update to a new theme in a couple of years? Or that I add yet another recurring subscription to my expenses? Still nothing, huh? Okay. What if I told you that this theme will make me $5,000 in a year? Alright, now I got your attention. You see, the theme includes a sidebar, which my previous one didn't have. Surely, I could have spent a couple of hours learning to code the sidebar to the installed theme instead of spending $500. But then I would also need to learn how to add a table of contents, which the old theme didn't have either. The theme bundle comes with about 10 themes in total, with an average price of $100 per theme. I told you, niche market. By buying the bundle, I could now also update my personal blogs theme, which is also running on Ghost, since I got a license for unlimited websites. In fact, I have already updated my blog's new look. But I've still not explained how it will make me money. I went through this in a previous podcast episode. Long story short, since I moved that website to Ghost, I could no longer run an advertisement on the sidebar, because there was no sidebar in the Ghost's free themes. That ad placement used to make about $500 per month. Now, with the new theme's sidebar, the ad is running again, and it made me $18 yesterday. But that's not the whole story, since this is just one small part of how I'm actually trying to recover this website to its previous performance. Last weekend, I moved my website from WordPress to Ghost. For a few days, the website was running on a free built-in theme. I began monitoring its performance to confirm the change actually made sense. The first thing I had my eyes on was the user experience and how that was reflected on the Google Analytics data. I had very high hopes. I have been running my personal blog on Ghost for 4 years now, and I have been very happy compared to running it on WordPress, which I had for 15 years. So, I expected my new experiment to bring in good results right from day one. Well, that wasn't the case. Users keep visiting the same amount of pages per visit. They used to visit 1.7 pages per visit. The number didn't change at all after moving to Ghost. That was a real shocker for me. I firmly believed they would visit more, as the new, faster Ghost installation would lead them for a more pleasant experience. At least that's what I was doing when I compared the two designs next to each other. I honestly enjoyed surfing my website a lot more on Ghost. Okay, I was wrong. Well, at least they must have spending more time reading the articles, as they look more polished now. Well, guess what? Wrong again. Actually, the average engagement time decreased after moving the website to Ghost. Oh boy, another shocker. My thinking is that because the website is now loading and running a lot faster, people get the information a lot quicker. So they spend less time on the website. And less time means fewer ad clicks. Wrong once more. The ad performance has been on par with the WordPress design. Although the sidebar ad wasn't loading before I installed the new theme, the other ad spots got more clicks and compensated for the lost revenue. Yet, reinserting the sidebar ad on the new theme led to a bit higher revenue overall, as people clicked a lot more on the sidebar ad and clicked less on the main ad spots. So it makes sense to keep the sidebar layout, although it makes the website more cramped with ads. That's considered a bad ranking signal for Google, according to experts. It's common knowledge that most of the websites that got hit by recent Google updates had a lot of ads on their pages, mostly running by Mediavine and Raptive. My own opinion is that this is just half of the story. It's not the ads themselves that led to Google dropping these websites' rankings or even deranking them entirely. I believe Google's algorithm made the decision based on the low average engagement time and pages per visit metrics on analytics data. And that's what I noticed when I partnered with Raptive in April. Until then, that website of mine had been running ads from two partners of mine for years. The ads weren't lighter than Raptive's, and they were as much obstructive as theirs. Yet people coming to the website were visiting more than 2 pages per visit. That is obviously better than 1.7 pages per visit, which the website is now getting in both WordPress and Ghost technology. In that regard, partnering with Raptive had an impact on this traffic data. But still, the website was hit by Google updates despite people visiting more pages and being more engaged. So I'm betting that my new partnership with Raptive won't affect the rankings more, despite a minor decrease in engagement metrics. At the same time, I'm happy to continue running their ads as their performance is a bit better than my previous partners, which had already been exceptional compared to, say, Google AdSense. For web publishers who have been running Google Ads on their websites for monetization, they should try to increase the traffic as quickly as possible and reach Raptive's threshold to run their ads, as the performance is far better. That threshold is 100,000 page views per month. Once you hit that threshold and become a partner, you can then add sites to their platform of 30,000 page views. That's my current plan B, actually, which is to build an audience for my personal brand and blog and reach 30,000 page views so that I monetize it with Raptive ads. I estimate my blog will be making $1,000 once I hit that threshold. But for the time being, my blog is getting 3,000 page views, which mostly come from me ranking at top places for keywords relating to gambling, as I've been known online for my professional gambling expertise through Maramu. But plan A is still recovering my main website. This is what fills my family's plates with food. So I'm improving on anything I believe I neglected over the past years, as I was operating that website from my comfort zone. The new theme, although expensive, did manage to accelerate the website's loading time, but it didn't have the bigger impact that I expected. On the other hand, I was reluctant to buy yet another theme. In the past, I had bought many themes for my WordPress websites, and I happened to own and operate 10 domains at times. When I first began diving into web publishing, I thought it was all about the looks. My main aim had been to make the websites as eye-pleasing as possible. It took me years to realize that the perfect web design doesn't bring traffic. Content does. But I realized that not before I spent many hundreds of dollars on WordPress themes and templates. I wanted to be proud of how my websites looked. And I bet many web publishers and bloggers overestimate the impact a good web design has on their websites. Sure, a very bad looking theme will drive people away, but you'll have to go to a lot of trouble finding a bad theme nowadays. Even the basic built-in themes that WordPress and Ghost offer are super fine and get the job done. And what exactly is a bad theme? A theme looking like a website built in the 90s? Probably. A theme where there's no clear navigation and mixed colors? Maybe. A theme that's taking 10 seconds to load and people get frustrated waiting for the page to even begin loading? Certainly. But even then, if the content is very good, if the content packs a ton of value, people will wait to receive that, whatever it takes, even if that means waiting for that long. Because excellent content on a very bad designed website will work. But bad or even mediocre content on a perfectly built website will rarely convert. So when friends tell me they want to build a website for their business and begin by asking me, "Hey Jim, what's the best theme to go for?" I stop them right there. Do you want the most beautiful business page that no one visits? Or do you want your web page to bring you more clients? At the end of the day, everyone is trying to make money in real life. That also applies online. Otherwise, what's the point of being online? Unless you are retired and financially free, in which case you are free to do whatever you please. Okay, a website should be a representative of your brand's identity, of what you want people to associate you with. Don't get me wrong, looks are very important and actually everything in some industries. In the web publishing world, though, looks can bring money as long as the content creates value for the visitor. So for me, a good theme is more about making a website faster so that it ranks higher in search engines, keeps visitors engaged so that they don't leave immediately looking for a competitor, and ultimately making money to me as a web publisher or to the business that's operating it. That is all. And this new theme I've installed in this constellation that cost me $500 achieved 2 out of these 3 points. I'm happy with that. Could it be better? You bet. For example, I realized that the theme's developer didn't include the date in the posts. I know, right? I didn't even notice it, despite spending 2 hours on his demos. I focused on a few other things that my current theme was lacking, that I totally missed that the posts didn't show when they were written. And dates are quite important for that specific website of mine. So once I realized that, I contacted the developer, letting him know if there was some setting that I had missed. It seemed to me a huge oversight to omit the dates, so I must be doing something wrong. Well, for a change, this time I wasn't wrong, and the developer let me know that he would add the date functionality on the theme's next update. I suppose they were more willing to act on my request after giving them $500. I didn't wait though. I added the date with some coding. But still, I wasn't happy with the result. There's a reason I buy themes or hire developers. They are better than me. I'm not an expert in web development. My skills in that section have a limit. And when I go past that limit, I seek help. And that's when a business comes into play to fill that gap and lift the restrictions. That's how we end up opening a business. We see the problems other people have and we try to solve them. Once we find a solution, our task is to let the world know. Hence, starting a business and a website for that business. That's how I ended up running this website 15 years ago. I noticed a gap in the education industry on a specific niche. Competition was non-existent. That's why the website quickly got traction. Now, although it's an established website in its niche, it's facing fierce competition lately, mostly due to the AI. Competitors have boosted their content production with the help of AI, creating hundreds of new posts, while I was living in my comfort zone, believing that staying at top was guaranteed. At the same time, Google implementing AI results in their search engine, the so-called AI overviews, further pushed my website lower. Is changing the theme solving this? No. It's just another step in recovering the website. Will I be able to recover the traffic? Well, I honestly don't know, and in fact I'm very pessimistic of the future. AI has certainly changed many industries online, and will disrupt even more. It's evolution. Dare I say artificial intelligence may compare to the invention of the internet itself. And like internet, it's going to change the real world as well. And I bet when that begins happening, people will begin understanding what we, as web publishers and business people, have been facing against online. On that note, and before I launch my AI avatar to make these podcasts, and you employ an AI agent to comment below, let me know what you think of today's episode and of any question you might have. I'm trying to include as much info as possible in this podcast, but it's certain that I've missed many things in my train of thoughts. And as for the podcast itself, I don't have a strict plan for future episodes, as I'm sharing whatever happens in my business and personal life, trying to share the most up-to-date information. I'm enjoying sitting on these Sunday mornings here in my office. Well, these are usually recording outside in the balcony, but for this podcast episode, I scripted the episode quite late and I didn't have it on time so that I can record it on my balcony and it's quite hot outside right now, so I chose to record this in my office. Well, anyway, I wish you are enjoying listening to this podcast as well, in your walks, your commutes, or anywhere you consume your podcasts. I just hope I didn't waste your time. Thanks for listening.